In Climate Watch now, Northeast states are among the fastest warming in the U.S. Scientists blame the dramatic warming of the Atlantic Ocean for temperature increases on the land. An article in USA Today titled "The Northeast Warms Ahead of the Rest of USA. Our Winters Now Are Not Like Our Winters Before" takes an in-depth look at the effects climate change has had on the northeastern U.S. So Kyle Bagenstose is a Northeast investigative reporter for USA Today, and he's also the author of this article and joins us now. So listen, that title I thought was so appropriate because I can't tell you how many times I've had a conversation with people who reminisce about their childhood, taking out their sleds on a winter's day, and we think about the fact that we don't see that level of snow anymore, that level of precipitation. It just doesn't seem, it certainly doesn't seem as cold. I was out jogging on the weekend and I had a t-shirt on. It's January.
Yeah, certainly. So this piece in particular, didn't look at snowfall per se, but I know from past reporting that, there certainly seems to be a perception that winters are certainly warmer than they used to be. We still get large snowfalls. I'm sure some of your viewers will know that, but it might be a little bit more inconsistent than it has been in the past.
Right, that totally makes sense. So, summarize, give me sort of the basics of what the article has to say. What were the conclusions?
Yeah, so global average temperature has risen over the past century about 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit. And what we see is northeast states, United States, have risen significantly more than that. Rhode Island leading the way at about 3.6 degrees. So what we're seeing here is that the Northeast is warming quite quickly, much more than the global average. And when you compare it to other states around the United States, is also warming faster than them.
And this all has to do with the warming of the Atlantic Ocean.
So not all in.
Okay.
Scientists, there's a lot of factors that can go into climate. You have kind of global factors. You have air circulation patterns. But one of the things I was noticing when I was looking at these states and even the counties and the warming was there seemed to be a really big correlation between coastal states, coastal counties, and the temperature. And when I started asking scientists about why, a bunch of different factors came up, as I mentioned, air patterns, maybe some urbanization. But the thing that kept coming up over and over again was proximity to the water. And we know that the waters, just like the air, are warming very quickly, and that can impact inland air temperature.
And in fact, a number of the scientists that you spoke to who focus on the ocean and the ocean temperature, they've been seeing changes.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So one of the scientists I spoke with, who was, I believe, Maine's state meteorologist, he actually has a graphic where you can kind of see temperature changes over time with color, so blue being colder and red being warmer. And when you look at that for the ocean temperatures and a lot of the bays along the coast in the Northeast, it's really dramatic seeing the temperature change. Exactly why is still kind of up in the air a little bit as well. Obviously, as the planet warms, the oceans will absorb that heat and they'll become warmer in general. And there also might be some effects occurring from changes to the Gulf Stream coming up in the tropics.
Okay, so then how do ocean temperatures affect these coastal counties beyond maybe the temperatures being milder?
Yeah, so in the article I describe it as working kind of like a thermos. So water takes longer to heat up and cool down than air. So as kind of cooler air temperatures maybe descend in the winter, the ocean stays nice and warmer than it has been in the past. And that's just then the temperature coming off of that can blow inland. Some viewers might be familiar with something called a lake effect. And so it's pretty well documented that water temperatures can impact air temperatures, especially downwind.
A lot of times people will sort of joke about climate change and be like, well, milder winters, ha ha ha, not so bad. At least they don't have to shovel the snow, though precipitation and temperature are two different things, which you pointed out. But some of the scientists have noticed other sort of really dramatic changes, like warm water fishes, swimming around in January when they never used to see them before and stuff like that.
Yeah, certainly. So there's always quality of life impacts. Fishing's one of them. As you mentioned, just winter recreation can change. But there's more significant impacts as well. I mean, the piece didn't get into this, but I've covered in the past about how warmer temperatures can affect things like air pollution and asthma and obviously heat-related illnesses. There was a story out of New Jersey just recently about a gentleman who went crabbing in calf-deep water and had a bacteria in his leg and ended up having to get amputated. So, there are some significant impacts that can occur. It's not just a warmer winter.
So, you know, Kyle, the thing about these stories is you need the information. People need to be informed, but it can also be really overwhelming because it feels like there's nothing you can do about it. Is there anything we can do?
Well, I'm not sure I'm the best person to speak to that, and we didn't get into solutions in the story too much, but I don't think it's any great mystery that global climate change is being driven by carbon emissions, and anything we can do at a personal level obviously helps. And once again, I can't go into advocacy too much, but obviously there's many solutions that have been promoted for government to take as well. So it can certainly be a bit overwhelming. But I find personally just trying to make proactive decisions at a personal level helps with some of that.
Yeah, right. Kyle, great article. Thank you so much.
Thank you.